Welcome to Stone Soup Poetry. I'm Chad Parento, and yes, my month sucked too. Anyway, it is the first month of the new year. It incredibly incredibly cold out. Is probably similar for you. Hopefully, you have at least a few less dozen inches in your near your driveway than I do, and hopefully you're all doing well, at least keeping warm. I wish you the best, and I thank you all for coming here. There's a couple of people who have already declared that they want to read for the open mic because they're here for the first time. But if you are here for the first time and have not declared that you want to read on the open mic, let me know in the chat section or just do a raise hand emoji. Hopefully, you're experienced with the art of the Zoom poetry reading. Ryan Mosher with a brand new book is reading for us tonight to close out the month. It's been It's been an eventful month already. I'm sure you guys have words commenting on some of it, at least. Um, don't be shy. And now we're going to get to the open mic. The Randonator 5000 will be has been randomly selecting who gets up on the open mic. There's always a number one person. If I ask people in the live reading to say, yeah, put yourself put yourself up first if you like, they always put themselves on the fifth. So the fifth becomes first anyway. So this works better. Let's welcome back Mr. Richard Spizak to the open mic. I'm so glad he's feeling better. And let's get this show on the road.
Thank you so much. This is called They Gathered in Davos. They gathered in Davos. Europeans are no longer even slightly amused at the yelling, the screaming, the cursing he used. They've seen toddler behavior before. They gathered in Davos for a meeting, not a special Trump-style WrestleMania downbeating. NATO was forced to send troops to protect Greenland from the Yanks. And to this day, not even one of the NATO generals has heard the tiniest word of thanks. Dumpy even tried to diminish NATO's contribution, but by now everyone knows he lies. So that was obviously no effing solution. NATO was there to prevent a tall turf grab over a bunch of frozen acres of the snowy Greenland slab. Sure, plant some missiles, build some bases, take all you want, but don't imagine you can plant a flag. That will not stand, graceless scam. France and the UK, Swedes and the Belgians have something to tell him. His master Putin better find some other flavor and some other fools they can try to sell him. The NATO allies have stood together nearly 90 years, and it won't be on their watch it collapses, no matter how much kicking and screaming or how many untempered Trump tears. Will Trump try a war on our European allies for what? And since the war isn't about bases or resources, what is what? His gut? Now hold your horses. He's got the resources. And then this one, oops. Hey, he felt great. Hey, cleared his plate. He just thrust in the smoky, choky dust. He made his statement of hate. There just was no chance in the driveway's rude fast food to relate. He had no need, the cat. He had the pistol, fired the pistol, sent the missile. No need for discussion. He felt the concussion, made the deduction, ignored instruction. With no further instruction, the concussion would resonate and re-hate the state. Mask up his hidden shame he could not name. There'd be no further statement made. He'd cross the great stream. There'd be no blame, no shame. Will pierce his veil of tears over the years. The long years. Stop. Drop here. He's on a Donna roll. High fives around the office, and just only the paperwork can top this. Hey, what could he say? Did he do the sleigh that day? Could never investigate, convey its simple 3D simulation, convey no second guess. See, sender, ender. What a pity. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. And now let's go on to let's see. Let's go to Jan Rowe. She's been here almost since the start as well. Whoops, you got unmute. You haven't unmuted.
Yep.
There you go.
Okay. I just wanted to show this real quick. because we were at they did a documentary, Emerson did a documentary of a play we were in recently, showed it, Emmanuel today, but these are similar to Mike and Ike's. And many, many years ago, you may remember when some kid had a school computer and was sitting there eating Mike's and Ike's, and they said it was drugs. But anyway, this was in my this week's Black Seed Writers. It's called Dropped Hat on the Red Line. Miss, why is this young man, black at that, in my space? I think to myself as I get ready to exit the red line at Park Street for Black Seed Writers. Miss, you dropped your hat as the young black man handed me my hat and something else. The hat was knit for me by Jacinth, Jazz from Jamaica, as a retirement gift. Jazz and I worked together for 23 years at Lemuel Shattuck Hospital. Um, from a favorite doctor there, Dr. Maxwell, Barbara Maxwell, I adopted, taken some homeless people to lunch. She went to, Dr. Maxwell went to school in Edinburgh for free and became a pathologist there in Scotland and was a psychiatrist here. So she grew up playing with coal miners' children. Uh, um, Her dad was a doctor for coal miners, and a great grandfather of mine, who was a pit boss, a fire boss, who determined if the mine was safe to work, which may account for his many addresses. Disagreement with the mine over safety. Well, anyway. So, and he was the first of 12 or 13. Now, um, Dr. Maxwell's main lunch guest was Doug, who once had to sit on his shaking hands as Jazz fed him. Wait a minute. Uh-oh. That was a rather abrupt ending. Sorry. Thank you. I had more.
Oh, poor.
Sometimes it's just good to end on a cliffhanger. Thank you, Jan. And we're going to bring up, we have more people joining us, but now we're going to introduce one of our newer participants to one of the new entries to Stone Soup Poetry. Let's bring up Michael McAfee.
Hello, that's McAfee.
McAfee, sorry.
Before I go, this is the first time using the mic on this, Jad. How's the sound?
Sounds good.
Excellent. Okay, so first one. So what you need to know about this poem is it was part of, it came from some writing prompts. And the writing prompts, you got a topic and then you got a restriction. It was pretty much done at random. So the topic I got to write the poem about was library. And the restriction I got was I couldn't use the letter R. So please enjoy Donde está la biblioteca? I am looking to find a place that collects books and puts them on shelves, but I do not know the language. I don't have the lingo. I am unable to say what needs to be said. So many modes of thought that I can't simply fling out of my mouth like I do at home. I am lost, and I don't mean spatially. My cognition is alien when I am among aliens. I am a genius back in my nation. I am an idiot in this land. And in a vicious loop of ill logic, to ask how to get to the place of meanings, I would have to have access to a book that can only be found in the place of meanings. And I don't know how to ask how. Okay. And the second one, it's called Rhythm. From hoofbeats roaring o'er the land as horses vied to take first place by running at a steady pace, a sport since history began. Now hear the ticking of the gears, assembled in a factory, for Waltham's timepiece company, in times gone by some 100 years. And followed not long after by the chugging of a new machine that ran on fuels like kerosene and moved the boats beneath the sky, with movement linked to beats in time and repetitions made sublime. This chain of oscillating sound, these sequences of incident, led increment by increment to drum beats backing up James Brown. Clyde Stubblefield's amazing licks on Funky Drummer, Loose and Free, a hit from 1970 that came down like a ton of bricks. With syncopated drum attacks, Clyde laid it down. When he was done, it wasn't long till it was one of history's most sampled tracks. A sound like factories and trains, stripped down till just the beat remains. And there it is, the human drive, to find a pattern, set a pace, for everything a time and place, like honeybees within their hive. And if all life could fit within the tempo of the working song that pushes all the world along like waves that dance upon the skin. So can you hear what's going down and step to match the primal throb, to join the others in the mob from street to street and town to town? Just get yourself into the groove and move and move and move and move. Hey, thank you.
Thank you so much and welcome. I'm going to bring up next. Let's see. Let's bring up next Mr. Robert Fleming, our visual poet
Thank you, Chad.
from Delaware.
Thank you, Chad. Tonight we are bringing back the Stone Soup Players to read the second scene in my 10-minute play, which is called How to Marry a Homosexual. And I will put that on screen. Chad, would you be able to give me screen sharing?
Can you request permission? For some reason I can't. Oh, here it is. For some reason my my share button wasn't showing, but you're good.
Okay, thank you. So one of the readers tonight, it's their first time reading this. We have John, who will be reading, and Wayne. So for Wayne, this 10-minute play is inspired by the movie How to Marry a Millionaire, but it's about Judy Garland who marries homosexuals. So this is the second scene, and John, would you like to be number one or number two?
I think I was number two last time, Robert, so I will continue.
Okay. So the scene starts in the bedroom the night before a wedding.
You're leaving me for Judy?
When you need to unmute.
Now you're still muted, Wayne.
There we go.
And I'm Wayne Daniel, by the way. That's my actual first name, just so you know.
Okay.
Yes.
Not every homosexual gets to marry Judy.
I do.
Oh no, you love me, not Judy.
Yes. No, why do I have to choose?
Oh, you love hearing Judy sing Over the Rainbow.
The first time I heard her, loved her.
Beautiful. You're in love with a singer in a movie. Feel my flesh. I am Peter, a real homosexual. I love you. I'll marry you. Make us alive. Give us a child.
No, I'm marrying Judy.
At the altar, I'll object.
You're not invited.
Nothing will keep me away.
A bouncer, a lesbian. She has your photo.
Homo 2 stands up and starts dressing.
Does Judy know you're a homosexual?
No.
Do you know?
Yes.
Hmm.
You fucked me in the ass.
Yes, Daddy. Please, please, stick it in deeper, harder. Oh, 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 I'll make it through the wedding night.
Headache.
Not work.
I love Judy.
Every homo loves Judy. Have you stopped?
With a man.
No, a woman.
No.
Get dressed.
Huh?
Taking you to the corner. Hire a pro. Can you do it?
I fucked a tranny.
In the ass?
Yes.
What about the V?
Huh?
Not the ass, the other side.
Huh?
Were you born?
Huh?
Where did you come out of?
Huh?
The vagina. Have you fucked a woman in the vagina?
No.
Oh no, let's go to the corner now.
Marry Judy. You're my friend. Help me.
Okay, Judy is blind when she doesn't wear glasses. Make me a double martini now.
Homo 1 bakes the drink, brings it to Homo 2.
Your wedding night. Bring mayonnaise, a knife, a vibrator. Before you fuck Judy, hide her glasses, vibrator, pretend to orgasm, spread mayonnaise in Judy's vagina. Will you do that?
Huh?
Glasses, hide, vibrate, Judy, you, oh, Judy, oh, spread mayo in VV.
Too much.
Hide, vibrate, oh, mayo, say it with me.
Stop, okay?
Together, hide, vibrate, oh, mayo.
Hide, vibrate. Oh, male.
So let's do the last line is you say it together.
Hide,
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 vibrate.
vibrate,
Oh,
oh, mayo.
male.
Thank you. That was the Stone Soup Players. That was John and Daniel. And I look forward to submitting this to a 10-minute play competition in Baltimore next month. And hopefully it will be performed in the summer this year.
Huh? I mean, thank you so much, Mr. Fleming. Thank you. And let's keep this going with Mr. Bill Lewis.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was wonderful, Robert. That is so exciting. Oh my God, people are actually going to put this on like, well, for real, real? Wow. Well, it's totally cool. Yours truly is a very happy camper. I went to the Lake Pend Oreille Alternative School yesterday and spoke with the history teacher, and he is excited to have me come and visit and perform as James Madison and do all that stuff. And of course, once I get my foot in the door, ha ha ha, they'll never keep me out. Yes. And so that's really cool. And may I have sharing permission for a moment, sir? I would like to
You already
share.
have it.
This is a friend of mine, Ted Selker. I've known him ever since we were too young to be mentioned. But anyway, so a professor at MIT, whoopee-doo. I worked with him on the Caltech MIT Voting Technology Project. Oh, okay, whoopee-doo. Um, and we got an article published in Scientific American. I mean, that's a pretty good whoopee-doo, but still. Um, And he's the guy who invented the track point for, if you've ever seen an IBM laptop, they have that little button that you can use instead of a mouse. So that made him famous. But now he has come up with a way that you can get a round bread and put it in plastic, and you can drop it from an airplane, and it will float down, and even if it hits you on the head, it's a piece of bread hitting you on the head. And so that he's been working on. And here is a picture of them in Jordan. So the Jordanian Royal Air Force, this is one of their C-130s, and they're doing a practice run of doing this, and they're going to hope to do, there he is holding one of the red things that's supposed to spin happily to the ground. Anyway, I just thought that was really cool and amazing. I was just in a meeting with him earlier today, and I'm just like, holy moly! Wow. And they've got a number of places where they're looking to use this, and um, people who do the World Kitchen is involved. Anyway, it was way very impressive. And now I would like to share with you a little bit more of my heartfelt story about Yuri, a boy who's half Russian, half Estonian, living in Tallinn, where I lived for a winter. And he struggles with that aspect. He's bullied a bunch. And he has a special place where he hides in town, an old broken down building where I used to always stick my nose in and just sort of look around. And there was an old car there and everything. And um, drunken people could hide there if they didn't cut themselves. But anyway, so there it is. And Yuri has just recovered from almost getting run over by a car. And he's returning to his refuge, as we call it. Feeling revived, almost happy, Yuri walked back up Yal Peak to where the great archway through the town wall led down to the refuge. He crossed the small flat to the highest retaining wall and looked down to where his father had beaten up those two boys. It was a long ways down. He tried to imagine jumping, first to one wall halfway down, then to the narrow flat in the town shield. He'd never survive. He walked along the wall and took the stairs. As he started down the second set of stairs to the tiny lawn above the refuge, he noticed something was wrong. He stopped, stared, shook his head, and stared again. The car was missing. As he started down the second set of stairs to the he hurried down to the lower lawn. The car was gone. The snow was dirty and trampled where it had been drug out, and where all the trash piles had been dug out. The gate was opened. There were some tools leaning against the wall where the car had been. Yuri surveyed the scene. No car, most of the trash gone. There was a hole in the side of the shed that formed the overhang of the refuge. Someone had taken a sledgehammer to it. There were scraps of trash littering the yard, some rocks from the wall, some tiles from the roof. Two men in orange overalls came through the archways with a wheelbarrow. One of them was heavy set with a beard and a rough face, and several large scars that Yuri could see clearly. The other was skinny. He had a narrow face and was clean shaven. He was pushing the wheelbarrow while the large man talked and gestured, pointing at the different things in the courtyard. They ignored Yuri. The skinny one parked the wheelbarrow by the far wall, then the two of them picked up sledgehammers and approached the refuge wall. The old mortar gave way easily, and the wall fell quickly under the assault. Yuri ran back up the stairs, across the second level, past the shield of Tallinn, and down the stairway leading out to the neighboring courtyard and on to Rutli Street. As he turned down the Rutli, he could see a large trash container parked on the sidewalk next to the gate, and pieces of junk, scraps of wood, and bits of rocks and mortar making a trail from the gate to the container. A paneled truck was parked near it with the faded words, Remont Serge, Serge Renovation, painted on the side in Russian. The gate itself hung open. Yuri had never seen it open. On one side of the gate, it hung at an angle attached only by the upper hinge. The other side, the side that had the hole that Yuri used to sneak through, swung open on both hinges, but was missing a quarter of its face. Instead of opening the lock or cutting the chain, they had simply smashed the gate itself. The chain and the lock dangled undamaged from the left side. Yuri stepped over the trash and peered into the corner. Hit it harder! The big man was yelling at the skinny one. Can't you do anything right? Can't you smash it? The skinny man was trying to hit the edge of the wall where the refuge stood out under the remains of the overhang. Serge, I can't hit it any hard. I've got a roof over me. Let's do the other one first. The skinny fellow was short too. He pulled off his knitted wood cap to wipe his face. Yuri could see he only had a fringe of hair. He was older than Yuri's father. You're a hopeless lad. I don't know why I keep you. Move over. Serge stood at an angle and swung his sledgehammer horizontally. The wall cracked where he hit it. See, all you have to do is put some muscle in it. He swung again and the wall collapsed. Just muscle, you got to work out more, kid. He stepped across the rubble, tapped the side of the house with his sledgehammer. Seemed solid. He tapped a few more places and spotted the crevice. There's a cat in there, Yuri blurted out. And I will excite you with adventures of what happens with our poor cat next time. Oh, wait, how do you like my eyes? Check out my eyes. I now have new lenses. My cataracts are all gone. My eyes, I'm like the bionic man.
Can you see infrared now?
Bump, 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 bump. I have X-ray vision.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Daniel, if you're willing, we would love to have you come back on the mic this time as your own as reading your own stuff.
Oh, that's me. My first name is Wayne Daniel. It has a hyphen.
My bad.
Oh, yes, that's okay. Don't worry about it. It happens all the time. Thank you. This brand new this morning. It has two titles, one in Hebrew, one in English. Shesharodva Svasarim, which means whistles and horns. The Jew in me has hope reborn to hear the whistles and the horns. Truth be told, I thought at foregone conclusion there'd be no whistles, no horns. Just a rusty scrape of forlorn doors on our equivalent of cattle cars. Their engines whistle, their horns. But I was wrong. The siren song of this incarnate form of ancient hate refuses just to wait for next election if it's there, but insisting on its right to bear whistles and horns, chases cloaks behind the masked parade. To women man the barricades of ice and freezing temperature with whistles, horns, the nomenclature of the decent. Just recently I wrote, will you stand between me and them when they come? I feared I knew the empty answer. Now we're here, a Marseillaise, uncancering this land and overcome, reclaiming its verb to be. We shall not be done with whistles or with horns, and will pay the price for those born someplace else, some race other. Forgive me, oh my sisters, brothers. I was precast in the cynicism of my own past. One day, when we plant our garden of the righteous, each limb and branch will be resplendorously adorned with whistles and horns. And oh, the nigun, oh, the hymns that every breeze will anthem then. And thank you. And again, this is brand new from this morning, so it's a little rough. It's called What I'd Like My Son's First Serious Girlfriend to Know. He was 4 or 5, sitting on the floor of our as yet undivorced duplex when the song came on. When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. Suddenly, I heard him sobbing. Pete, what is it? I asked. It's so beautiful, he said. As shared future becomes more and more present, I wanted you to know this. Perhaps you already do. That underneath the drive of activism, understandably tinged with cynicism, still beats the unlittle heart of that boy. Like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through. Are you fated? I hope so. If it's the case, you already know that wishfulness, that star, makes no difference who we are, his mother, me, that a far wish may yet come true for he and you, my boy and you. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'd like to bring it on over to Jackie Chow, who's been having issues, but she's with us now. So read a poem while you can, man.
Okay, I might have to share screen.
You should be able to.
Okay, yeah, because I don't want to get kicked out. Okay. Let's see. Share document. Okay, so the chainmail poetry is ongoing, accepting submissions of poems in response to other people's poems. And this one, I'm not sure if they're going to accept it, but the line that I was inspired by was I remembered chapped lips. And my poem is called Doll Lips. I remembered chapped lips, not because mom couldn't afford lip gloss, but because its citrus oils would make my lips shine enough to make me appealing to boys and predators. Just a shimmer, no pink or crimson to smear on my mouth, no pouting which could be mistaken for flirtation. Nothing of that sort of the popular girls, just a little glow which would make me too pretty to be safe in the shark-toothed world. Okay, let me see. Let me stop share. And then I might just read some haiku because I don't need to share. I have that written if I can open it. No, I can't open it, so I'll share another poem. Let's see. Document submission 22. Okay. This is called I Love You Beyond Fascination. If I want to be enchanted, I shall look at the mountains, twinkling with a million lit windows. But I love you beyond lights that I can see with my mortal eyes. I love you beyond a girly crush, though it seems that way when I rush toward you every time I see you. If I want an infatuation, I shall stare at the faces in all the fashion magazines. But my love for you is grander, like that of a queen bee toward her court. Because of this love, you're not only beautiful, but brilliant by tenfold. Thank you. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not leaving the meeting. I'm just stop sharing. Okay.
There we go.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, Jackie. We do have I want if Lisa, Hank, or who else? Or if Mark wants to read, they're they're more than welcome to. But you can let me know in the chat. But now we'll go to Mr. John Wezick.
Hi. Well, anyway, Bill, since when I was in Estonia in 1999, I would walk from my hotel to in Tallinn downtown, and I passed this factory, and in the bottom of it, somebody put a disco. Anyway, there's a picture of the wrecked factory in the chat. The Soviets really left the place a mess. Last time we were reading Call Me Sal, and George woke up with amnesia. A woman named Evelyn is evidently his fiance, and he's been staying at her father Elliot's mansion. And he's been having weird dreams. He's been talking to the psychiatrist, and there are a lot of paintings by a precisionist painter named Taylor Davies. And precisionism was an art movement in the 1920s or so that painted things like factories and railroads and stuff like that. Continued. I speared a cube of Swiss cheese on a toothpick and grabbed a plastic cup of cheap Cabernet. Evelyn said getting out would be good for me, so she dragged me to an open house at Taylor Davies' studio. Vegetables guilt-tripped me from a plastic platter, but I left impaling ranch dressing with spears of broccoli to the vegans. Skyscrapers, smokestacks belching smog, water towers and apartment buildings adorned canvases in simple geometric forms. I like the paintings and would have bought one if they didn't cost more than a third world country complete with a secret weapon of mass destruction program. A beefy man with a flushed face was yammering at a thin teenager in chinos and polo shirt. The score from Annie on the sound system made it hard to hear, so I centimetered closer. Machine learning and crypto are huge. If I were you, I'd major in computers. The big man turned and shook my hand. Abel Gardner. And you are? George, I said. George what? Just George. Well, if you're famous like Bono, Sting, or Cher, one name is enough. What do you do, George? Try to remember. I like to look back at my glory days too. Charity work helps me bring back the fire of youth. Like I was telling Niles here, software is the wave of the future. That's why 8086 Africa sends laptops to Nigeria. George, Evelyn steered me away. Come meet Taylor Davies. Davies wore tinted glasses and a beret. The sparse hairs above his lip looked like a naked mole rat on chemo. Semiconductors are the coal and steel of the 21st century. That's why I apply the spirit of precisionism to tech. He pointed at watercolors of integrated circuits where MOSFETs resembled buildings connected by copper conductor roads. Doubling the number of components on each chip every 2 years shows what you can do when you set the free market loose. He walked over to a painting of a chandelier of electronics. Quantum computers. Then he stopped in front of several pictures of rockets and spacecraft. Asteroid mining will supply rare earth metals at pennies on the dollar. A woman in stretch pants engaged him in a conversation about technique. You're looking tired, George. Evelyn put her arm around me, my shoulders. Let's get you home. I dreamed I was playing Texas Hold'em with library cards while a bonobo sang Paul Simon lyrics. This seemed absurd, so I joined a panda, Great Pyrenees dog, and rhinoceros by a roulette table. Your bet, sir, Wesley Snipes asked. Black. I dropped a pair of brass knuckles on the green baize. The turning roulette wheel became a penny farthing bicycle ridden by a woman who looked like an actress named after a bird. The handlebars were made of hair, and these transformed into a nose-shaped automobile with headlights in the nostrils. This transformed into a fire engine, and then a painting called I Saw the Figure 6 in Red. The next day, Dr. Sinclair told me I was making progress. And we'll pick it up next time. Thanks.
Okay. Winding down to the end of the open mic, and thanks to everyone who participated. We're going to have a musical interlude with Mr. Ethan Mackler. Very nice. Thank you, Mr. Mackler. And finishing us off, we have James Van Loy. Check out his weekly column at oddballmagazine.com every Thursday morning at 11 called It's All One Thing. And let's hear him right now.
Okay, so this poem is called Viola Liuzzo and Renee Nicole Good. The movement, in the form of a teach end, was already there one morning as I arrived at Delta Junior College in the fall 1965, just one half year after the U.S. invasion of Vietnam in March of that year, just as the Civil Rights Bill of 1965 was creating voting rights for African Americans that they hadn't been able to use since Reconstruction. A struggle for agency I had been aware of, it seemed, so long as I could remember, and most recently in the KKK shooting death of a lady and with 4 kids from Detroit, where I was born, and where still most of my family lived back in those days of red-lined real estate in the apartheid southern states, taunting all the rest of us with police-backed lynchings and segregated public schools. And, like at our lumpet now, the federal agents who once investigated Mississippi burning, civil rights workers buried under a dam, are masked goons who shoot mother of 3 in the head to accuse her of attacking them. And here's the song. There's a world where I can go and tell my secrets to in my room, in my room, in my room. In this world I lock out all my worries and my fears in my room, in my room, in my room. Do my dreaming and my scheming lie awake and pray to my crying and my sighing, laugh at yesterday. Now it's dark and I'm alone, but I won't be afraid. In my room, 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 in my room. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Wonderful work. Thank you all for your patience. Thank you all for participating. Thanks to our feature for his patience, and he is about to participate now. Stay tuned to stonestooppoetry.blogspot.com or the Stone Stoop Facebook page for our future announcements for features. More should be coming up after tomorrow. Our feature tonight is Brian Mosher. I will read the boilerplate so you can all build yourselves up to applauding him, how virtually, physically, audibly, inaudibly, however you prefer. Brian Mosher writes poetry and fiction from his home in Mansfield, Massachusetts. His work has appeared in Blood and Bourbon, Lily Poetry Review, Literary Underground, Nix's Mate, Anomaly Poetry, Emerge, Esoterica, and others. His unpublished short story collection was shortlisted for the Unleashed Prize. The Unleashed Press 2025 Book Prize, and the short story Fragments was a winner of the Nikki Hanna Literary Challenge. He has self-published 3 books, all available through Amazon. His most recent collection, A Muster of Melodious Musings, is published by Metaphysical Fox Press. His poetry chapbook, Relict, is published by Finishing Line Press. Always good to have another Lily Poetry alum here with us. And this is going to be a lot of fun. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Let's say 40 to 45 times. Let's work ourselves up for Mr. Mosher.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Much appreciated. Thanks for the intro, Chad, and the opportunity. I really appreciate you asking me to be here or responding to my request to be here positively. I'm going to put my website in the chat. If anybody's interested in checking that out, you can find out about my various publications and other upcoming appearances and whatnot. I'm going to start with a few from A Muster of Melodious Musings, which was published by Metaphysical Fox Press, which is basically Robert Eugene Perry, Bob Perry, good friend of Wayne Daniels and Mark's, as well as myself. He's very active in the Worcester and Point South area, the poetry scene there, organizing events and publishing. This book came out in March of last year. I sort of divided it into sections, um, although I got a little loose with some of that. But in any event, I want to start with this one. As you alluded at the beginning, Chad, a lot going on lately in our country and in the world. This poem came to me, or the title at least came to me, shortly after the last presidential election, and I started to hear the names of some of the folks that were being considered for high positions in our government. And the title of it is Snake Oil Cabinet. It was published in an anthology called Silence is Consent. Snake Oil Cabinet. In the days of old, the snake oil salesman traveled the back roads and countrysides, horse-drawn, pulling behind him his wagon full of nostrums, creams, lotions, dried leaves, charming the rubes with promises of relief from their suffering. Today, he occupies the highest office in the land, beamed into every living room, office, even the palm of every hand. With oratory banished, crudity mistaken for honesty, he installs his cabinet full of charmless fearmongers, greased and ready to sell or be sold. It's the age of marketing and branding, led by a spray-tanned billboard advertising nothing but his own emptiness. The line between news and entertainment obliterated long ago, the con artists now assail the line between government and salesmanship, and no one stands a chance. One of the other sections in the book is the heart. I use these little symbols, so instead of a Valentine heart, it's an actual heart, because I'm clever like that. This poem is called So Much Depends. It was published by Nix's Mate in October of 24. So much depends on where you stand, which direction you face, how strong the wind, how fair the skies. So much is determined by timing, by when you begin and with whom, the season, the phase of the moon. So much rides on one roll of the dice, a spin of the wheel, on who marked the cards and who deals. Your future can change in an instant, redirected by something as small as the scent of her hair, the color of her eyes. The face you choose to hold in the diamond of your mind is the fulcrum upon which you balance yourself. So choose wisely, and never underestimate the importance of how well your hand fits inside another's. Um, as I said, I tried to put them in categories and sections, but some things just don't fit that way, right? So the first section of the book is the uncategorized. This poem is a villanelle. I hardly ever write in forms. I just don't like rules very much. But I thought I'd give it a try, and I thought it turned out all right. So this is a villanelle. It's called What's Mona Lisa Got to Smile About Anyway? What's Mona Lisa got to smile about anyway? I bet Leonardo was no treat to be around. I bet he never cared to hear what she had to say about the day's popular sonnets or satirical plays, or even whatever hot gossip had been making the rounds. So what did Mona Lisa have to smile about anyway? If a modern artist were to paint her today, there'd be an accompanying video with stereo sound, so we'd have permanent record of what she had to say. If I could travel back to those days, I'd be willing to pay Leonardo in dollars or euros or kroners or pounds to ask, hey, what was she smiling about anyway? Instead, she sits frozen and Leonardo's gone away as thousands of tourists stand silently round as if expectantly waiting to hear what she'll say. Perhaps something witty or silly or suitably gay, but not one of them yet has ever found what Mona Lisa's got to smile about anyway, or if she ever had anything interesting to say. Thank you. I'm going to do one more from this book. The final section of the book is called Dreams, and it's poems that either uh, were actual dreams or parts of dreams or just seem dream-like. And this one is called I dreamed that you were dreaming of me. I dreamed that you were dreaming of me, and I came to you, and you awoke, and I awoke, you and I, with pounding hearts and striving thighs, and eyes that see and throats that sigh, you and I, like ships that breast the waves that crest upon the shore. I rest a hand upon your thigh, and in your eyes I swim, and I awake, and you awake, you and I. Upon a beach we walk to where the earth extends a rocky finger into the heaving sea. My fingers trace the line of your broken collarbone. You are not alone in your dream. You awake, and I awake, you and I, not alone. We wander through a field of thigh-high grass, and with our stride we carve a path which closes behind us. We leave no track. No one can follow, no one can find. You and I, my hand in your hip pocket and yours in mine. You and I. Embrace the mystery of what you cannot see, and close your eyes and dream that I am dreaming of you. Thank you. Again, that's a muster of melodious musings. It's available on Amazon, or you can follow the trail from my website too to get there. Um, I want to read next a few poems from the brand new book, so new I don't even have my copies yet. Um, but it is available through Finishing Line Press. It's available on their website. It's also available on Amazon now and barnesandnoble.com. It's called Relict, Relict. And again, I think I have yeah, I'll put a link to this Finishing Line Press in the chat as well if anybody's interested. Um, so, um, the book it grew out of poems that I started to write after my father died. So grief poems, uh, poems about watching him sort of fade away, right? But then I also wrote other poems about earlier in his life, other poems about myself, my life, after his death, which was 8 years ago yesterday, as it turns out. Um, and you know, you still feel these things, right? The death of a parent is a significant thing. Um, I happened to be living with my father at the time that he took a fall in the middle of the night, and so I heard the fall, and that's what this poem is about. It's called "I Remember the Blood Mostly." I know objectively it wasn't much, but it seemed a flood, that dark red, smooth at first, as it pooled beneath his head, then frothing, bubbling. Face down on the hardwood, halfway out of the bathroom, his breath pushed the blood, spread it wider, toward the linen closet. Then all was still. Death hovered. A voice on the phone said, "Turn him over." I turned him. Clear his airway. My fingers did what I did not know they could. Breathe in his mouth twice. I breathed. Press on his chest. I pressed. I pressed again. He breathed, coughed, spit. Police, EMTs, firemen appeared, took control, told me I had saved him. But saved for what? Delivered into what? Tubes, wires, straps, stitches, surgeries, 10 days in a twilight before death finally claimed him, completing the process I had only interrupted. I washed the floor later. I washed the towels the rescuers had pulled from the linen closet. No signs remain, but these years later I still see and taste. Thank you. Um, so this next poem, as the first line indicates, was just days after that, and it's called Lost in the Fall. Just days after the fall, in a hospital ward rendered hopeless by wires and tubes and the ineffectual odor of disinfectant, angry fire flashed in his eyes, finger pointed accusingly, a first between my father and me, despite ample opportunities, my failure to finish college, tuition money squandered, jobs lost to incompetence or worse to dishonesty. A marriage ended in disaster for much the same reasons. No longer the man I knew since the night he crashed to the hardwood floor after a 2 a.m. piss. He wanted now only to take a shit on a toilet like a man, not in a diaper like a child. And he saw me there, not helping, only saying, "They'll be here soon." Mercifully, nurses rescued him from his need, but not me from my shame, nor could they prevent this from becoming part of how I still see him and of how I judge myself. Thank you. Um, so my father grew up in the town of Foxborough with three brothers. The four of them were as close as can be imagined for four siblings. They were truly the best of friends their whole lives. And once they'd all retired, they had a routine, almost a ritual, where they would get together once a week at one or the other's home and just talk about the things that 70 and 80-year-old men talk about, everything and nothing. I had the great honor one time to be able to sit with them during one of these meetings, and that's where this poem came from. And it's called My Uncles, My Father, and Me. We sit in a circle of green plastic lawn chairs in what Don, my youngest uncle, calls the meeting that never ends. Red-faced with the humiliation of divorce, I feel a child among these men, for whom vows are always kept, and bear witness to their quiet ritual beneath an ancient maple. They recall long since chopped down apple trees, a hammock hung between, berries which grew wild here in what Ray, my father, calls the war years, as if there ever were a year without a war. He reminds me this was the big war. Everything was different. Ford even stopped making cars. And the house, this house of their lives, built by hand, the foundation hole dug with a horse and a wooden scoop, blood and sweat in every board and nail. I feel connected to them, through them, yet it is a slender thread. As they each leave this life, the thread grows thinner. I recall all this years later, now the family's oldest living man, a lesser man among the ghosts of greater. Uh, Thank you. Robert's also in Silence is Consent. Excellent. Thanks for putting that link in there, Robert. Thank you. So this is another poem that's about Foxborough to some extent. I usually don't give that away, but I already told you that's where I grew up. So uh, it's the poem is called Nevertheless. It's true, I do believe the world revolves around me. There is no other way it can be. Admit it, it's the same for you. Wherever I plant my feet, wherever I sit my ass, there is the center of all mass in the universe, the one unmoving place. I am my own axis mundi. Yet there is another still point around which the universe spins. I know, the physics don't work. Nevertheless, the common, as the townies call it, the symbolic center of my youth, remains an almost timeless patch of green surrounded by asphalt, a quaint, quiet place amidst the traffic and the commerce. I don't love everything about the town. I don't love the jingoistic super patriotism or the link to those other patriots trademark. I don't love the inability to let go of the outmoded name of the school sports team, but I love the common and feel its pull each time I am in town. Like touching home in a game of tag, I tell my sister, who laughs at this sentimentality from her older, cynical brother. Nevertheless, uh, thank you. I'm just going to read one more from Relic. As you can tell, other than that last poem, maybe it's not a happy book, right? It's about death and grief primarily. But I wanted to end on a hopeful note, and so that's where this poem came from. It's called "The Same Hands," after John Keats' "This Living Hand." These hands, which held my daughter still fresh from the womb, stroked her hair before she had completed her escape, then diapered and bathed and powdered and clothed her until she, with her own hands, took her own direction. These hands I look at now and do not recognize. When did these spots appear? One of many echoes of the father. When did the knuckles begin to swell? The mother is here as well. Cracks and wrinkles and lines defy recollection. These still living hands contain no memories, only echoes and scars, only aches and clicks. Though they turned the crank to close my father's coffin, sealing his waxy face away from us who still had need of him, the final symbolic end to a life well lived, yet these icy hands have hope to mingle with the scars, to soothe the aches, to warm the joints. As I watch that baby, now a woman, forge her own life of love and commitment. Thank you. That baby is now 26 years old, a master in education, teaching full-time at Everett High School, uh, married to a beautiful young woman from Korea, and they have an apartment in Cambridge. And it's amazing to think about, right? They start out like this, right? And then eventually, if everything goes right, they're out there in the world making their own way. It's kind of it's crazy to think about. Anyway, those are the poems from the book Relict. I, would love if anybody's interested. Check out as I said, Finishing Line Press. I really appreciate it. I'm going to take my remaining time, and Chad, tell me if I go too long, right?
You're
Um,
doing
I-
good.
all right, thanks, man. Um, I'm going to read just a few more newer ones. This one is called Moses and Aphrodite. Uh, Moses and Aphrodite. He is marble, as Michelangelo formed him, muscle bound and horned, beard twisting and flowing down his brawny chest. She is bronze, but sleek as flesh, standing bathing beside a bowl of water, combing her fingers through thick, wet hair. They've each descended from mountains, she Olympus, to dwell a while among the mortals, he from his encounter with his brutal godhead. Burdened by taboos and the weight of divine command, he would have need of her soft cleanness to remind him of his humanity, while she, feigning a divinely chaste coyness, would warmly welcome his strength as they mingled curly tresses. But as I move them monthly, along with all the other knickknacks, photographs, drawings, and tchotchkes cycling around my apartment to new locations and fresh arrangements, these two remain separate, gazing at each other across my living room, longingly, perhaps warily, but always carefully placed in this purgatorio I've created for them, damned to circle each other forever, without hope of coming together. For I am a vengeful master, bruised, sprained, and mortal, envious of their immutable solidity, which will not gray or suffer, but only remain and endure. You might have figured out, but I have a small statuette of Michelangelo's Moses, where he has the horns and the muscles like Arnold Schwarzenegger wished he had. And I have another one of Aphrodite, a bronze Aphrodite at her bath. And I make sure that I rearrange the knickknacks and things in my apartment. I have some undiagnosed mental health issues, I'm sure. Uh, and some things change rooms, but these two never leave the living room, but they also never get nearer to each other. They're always sort of circling each other in my living room. A little joke for myself and no one else. You guys now are on the in. Um, as I get older, some of you might be able to relate. I find myself thinking more nostalgically about my youth and my teenage years. So this poem goes back to 1980, which is a long, long time ago. It's called Pierced and Curly at the Mall. 18 in 1980, full of fears and expectations and hormonal delusion, and with a head full of uncontrollable hair, I let myself believe one of my several mall crushes might be impressed by my pierced ear. First, Anna Maria, hairdresser, Sophia Loren eyes and wild black tresses, cut my twisted locks at more than one house party, but perhaps for the best, never got more intimate than fingers on scalp. The now nameless girl at India Imports, cash register counter between us, let me touch her tight blonde curls, or I dreamed she did, dry and soft like a woolen sweater. Eleanor, tomboy, hair wavy and dark, worked beside me at the drugstore. We played tennis once, safely separated by the net, before she took me home and told me, the supportive friend, she was pregnant. Memories have become symbols, as if those ringlets I longed for in my ignorant youth prefigured yours, where I loved to hide, and imagine we knew each other then, when I was pierced, and we both were curly. Yes, exactly right, Robert. Thank you. Um, I'm just going to do one more. Any of you who are writers and have friends who are not, I'm sure have heard the question, where do you get your ideas? Where do they come from? Where do the poems come from? Uh, for me, that's not the challenge, right? Where do they come from? Because they're coming all the time, right? Wayne Daniel wakes up with them in his head already every morning. But everything you experience is input for the next poem. The trick is to catch them and to notice, right, when those moments happen. Um, so, for those of you who know me, won't be surprised to hear that this one was born while I was sitting on a bar stool in a Mexican restaurant in Plymouth. And was noticing all the different bottles of tequila. I just had no idea. I'm not a tequila connoisseur. I didn't realize how many varieties and brands there are. There are hundreds. And some of the bottles are really beautiful. But I noticed there were two bottles that had Frida Kahlo's face on the label. And it struck me, it seemed, I thought it was odd, but then it seemed kind of inappropriate in a way too. Um, but anyway, so I did some research, by which I mean I checked the Wikipedia page, um, and one or two Frida sort of fan websites. Um, and it turned into this poem called Frida's Tequila, which comes with an epigraph. Epigraph is a word I often want to mispronounce as either epitaph or epigram. Uh, Three completely different words. But anyway, this comes with an epigraph. It's a quote from Frida herself. There have been two great accidents in my life. One was the trolley, and the other was Diego. Diego was by far the worst. Magdalena Carmen Frida Kahlo y Calderon. Courageous Frida, icon to millions who know no more of you than your eyebrows on the t-shirts your face adorns. What is your name worth now? What value added by the pain you suffered through decades of disease and injury, the few small nips delivered by the hand of your passionate husband? We find you, wounded dear, desperate and afraid, lost in the forest without hope, force-fed against your will, only to prolong a life of agony, a life dominated by Diego, who seemed to live inside your mind like a ghost, though still alive, while you, bedridden, painted until your final breath. You wished to be found inside our darkest everything. I wonder, did you wish to be found on the label of a tequila bottle? Magdalena Carmen, the spirit of Bizet's fiery gypsy gifted to you in that naming, along with the sexual appetite of your biblical eponym. How are we to square that burning ardor with the reduction of your public name to an ingredient in margaritas in trendy taquerias? Today, when we finally recognize more than two genders, two orientations, your openness, honesty, self-expression, self-objectification echo heroically down the years, while your grandnieces hope the centuries of torture you suffered add stature to the brand they founded upon your face and name. Forgive them, Frida, as you forgave Diego, and leave it to us to judge those who trespass. I want to thank you all very much. This was a hoot. I really enjoyed it. Uh, Even with the anarchy at the beginning, and I really enjoyed hearing everybody read and Ethan play. I heard you play with Garage Poets at the Oddball Festival in Mansfield,
Oh
which was
yeah.
what 2 or 3 years ago, right? Um, Chad was the MC. Uh, it was a great time. I still have a plant over here that I'm looking at now that continues to grow that I bought that day. Um,
Nice.
anyway, thanks everybody. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian, and I'll include a link to your website tomorrow to encourage people to grab your collections. Uh, they're well deserving of a home, and I hope you move some.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Chad.
And I hope everyone enjoyed the reading. I know you did, and there'll be more announcements coming up. And Brian, I hope you make your way to Stone Soup at some point. I know you have a writers group, but if you're ever waylaid or what have you, you're more than welcome back here.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, Brian. And here's to hopefully more oddball festivals and more meetings of physical nature, but we'll see how that goes. I have a lot to get back to after tomorrow, so thank you everyone for coming to
Thank you,
Stone
Chad.
tonight, and thank you everyone. And I hope you all stay safe for the next few days. It's more important for me to say that than ever, for all too obvious reasons. So take care of yourselves. Take care of someone else if you can, and we will see you next time.
Thanks very
everybody.
much.
Have a
Bye-bye.
great night. Could be like this every week. All we need is you
Mhm.
and a Zoom link. Okay, talk to you soon and have a good night. Show's over. See you next time.